Hello, in this video I'm going to give you 5 reasons why older MacBook Pros are better than the 2017 brand new ones, or put another way, 5 things that are wrong with the brand new MacBook Pros. So at number 5 we have price. Perhaps the biggest difference between a brand new MacBook Pro and say a 2014 MacBook Pro is the price. Brand new Macs are extremely expensive, and I don't know about other countries, but here in the UK, they've actually recently put their prices up. A base model MacBook Pro costs £1,250. So depending on your budget, it might be actually that an older MacBook Pro is all you can afford anyway. And I think when you see the other things in this list, you might start asking yourself whether a brand new MacBook Pro is really worth the money that they're charging for it. And to be honest, unlike a few years ago where there was a significant difference between what a Mac and a Windows machine could do and the sort of build quality and look of them, really there's not much difference now. And for £1,250, I think you could probably get an amazing Windows machine. At number 4, we have USB. Quite extraordinarily, the brand new 2016 and 2017 MacBook Pros don't have any USB ports on them. That's probably the most unbelievable thing in this list. I went into the Apple store in my local city the other day and thought about getting a new MacBook Pro, and all they've got on the side is these Thunderbolt ports, is it? I suppose it's quite forward-thinking of Apple to get rid of the USB ports. Maybe they think we're all going to be using Bluetooth and other things like that, or just downloading files off the internet in the future. But at the moment, everybody uses USB pen drives and USB dongles and things. So really, I think that was a little bit short-sighted of Apple to remove those so quickly. Certainly, that's the main thing that's put me off getting a MacBook Pro. They've also got rid of the SD card slots, and as somebody who edits videos like this, I always plug an SD card into my 2014 MacBook Pro and download the data on there, so that's majorly inconvenient for me. Apple purists would argue that there's just an adapter you have to get to be able to use a USB device or access an SD card. But do you really want to be carrying around a load of little accessories to be able to plug a USB pen into your computer? And do you really want to be spending £20 or £30 on an accessory to be able to do that? At number 3, they're just not fast enough. So MacBook Pros are the Pro version of the MacBooks, if you like. So the Pro versions are meant to offer more features and be significantly faster. Well, as has been the case with Apple products for quite some time, they're just lagging behind. The CPUs are pretty good, the RAM is pretty good, but is it professional level? No, it isn't. Really, 16 gigabytes in this day and age is very good, but it's not professional. And they're using, I believe, one generation of Intel processors behind the most up-to-date processor. Now, this video is meant to be comparing brand new MacBook Pros with the older ones, so the older ones are obviously even slower, but I think they represent excellent value for money. And I do video editing and internet browsing and all sorts on my 2014 MacBook Pro, and I don't have any trouble at all. And obviously, as I said in point number 5, it's significantly cheaper. At number 2, the keyboard. In an effort to make these new MacBook Pros much lighter and much thinner, Apple has made the keyboard on the brand new 2017 MacBook Pro very, very thin. So it looks quite nice, but I've heard it described as incredibly difficult and untactile to use. It's a bit like typing on a flat desk. You get no sort of touch feedback from it. In fact, people actually sell keyboards now that are sort of big and chunky and make a big clicking sound when you press them, because there is something comforting and more usable about those sort of keyboards. And obviously the older MacBook Pros don't suffer from that. They're still pretty flat keyboards, but they're not as flat as the brand new 2017 ones. And so some of you might mention the new sort of touch bar thing that's on the 2017 MacBook Pros. It's a gimmick, isn't it? It's a nice gimmick, but, it's not really going to actually improve using the laptop. It's just another excuse to charge more money for the newer product, which leads me on to the next point. At number 1, we have the design. So apart from the sort of touch bar thing that I told you about previously, I don't know if that's what it's called, Apple Apple really hasn't changed the design of their MacBook Pros for years. They'll argue that they have and that they've redesigned everything from top to bottom, but if you hold the two of them, like a 2014 and a 2017 side by side, you'll really have to search for the differences to see what the difference is. And for most people who are just browsing the internet and typing a Word document or whatever, there is functionally no difference. The only difference is the huge cost. That said, they are becoming sort of quite outdated in that their specifications aren't top of the range. They now haven't got USB ports and all the other things I mentioned in this list. So they're actually starting to look distinctly average. So maybe instead of MacBook Pro, they should start calling them MacBook Average. And in terms of usability, there's quite a big problem that I've heard about recently, which is that the battery life on the new MacBook Pros is like quite a bit shorter than the previous generations. And it sounds like a little bit of a bug, and actually Apple have been sort of replacing these batteries in the ones that people have reported don't have very good battery life, only for people to have exactly the same battery life with their new one. So it seems to me as if they've really sort of let their design slip. I'm slightly worried that this is because Steve Jobs isn't at the helm anymore. Anyway, do you agree with the things I've said in this video, or do you think that Macs are absolutely wonderful? Let me know down below if you agree or disagree with me, and I will get back to you if you want to discuss it. Thanks for watching, do subscribe if you like this sort of video, and I shall see you next time for another one.